Welcome to DarkSideAdventures, an 18 and older, not safe for work podcast where we explore the dark side of sex, the world of kink, fetish, and Bdsm lifestyle.
I like losing control. I get high when I'm feeling the flow. My mind is focused and I'm ready to go. Ready to go. I like losing control. I get high when I'm feeling the flow. My mind is focused and I'm ready to go. Ready to
Yeah, that's it.
Headbang in there.
Oh my god, yeah. Holy cow. Shout out everybody. Yo, welcome back. Dark Side Adventures episode 12. Oh,
Ooh, we are
Oh.
getting there. We
Oh.
are getting there.
what I remember when we first did like episode 1 and then episode 2, we were like, oh man, we'll eventually get into the double digits. Now we're like,
Here we are, and we're
yeah, 20% into the double
like,
digits.
yes.
Oh.
Woohoo. Look at us like being real podcasters.
Right? Once we get everything underway, then we'll be like for real podcasters. So,
Right.
oh man,
Well, we are for real podcasters. We'll just be better for real podcasters.
yeah, we'll be more organized podcasters here.
Yes.
But holy cow, man! Like, yo, everybody, welcome, of course, and we of course are your hosts. I am Edwin.
I'm Coco.
Oh man, and we are back again. It's wow, like it's been a wild ride, of course, and we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the big one there, the national holiday. Would you like to give it to us?
Yes, today's national holiday is Plant Power Day.
Plant power. You want to give us a little bit more? Are we like planting something with like or is it like your plants are powerful plants? Like I don't know. Like
I think it's a little bit of both here. Let me show you the picture that goes with it and correlates with it on my camera or on my calendar, and I'll let you make your own decision from it. It almost looks like like an Earth Day type thing.
oh, okay. So
But
it's a pre-Earth Day to Earth Day.
yes.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. So
Yeah, for all those lovely growers, vegetables, flowers, illegal flowers.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're legal up here.
Oh, facts. No. No, 100% true. Oh man, yeah, those are different types of flowers right there.
Sure are, but they're still flowers. And I mean, all plants are like, they're oxygen producers, so that's totally good. Except for when, they kill me with their pollen and allergies. So I will try to edit out all of the sniffles. But you can probably hear it in my voice that I am incredibly congested.
Yay for allergies. Yep. I said, you gotta say no more. As soon as we popped on and I heard you, I was like, oh.
I know. It's been bad. And that's what I get for forgetting my allergy meds.
Oh man.
Always takes a couple days to get back on track with those.
Yo, I can't stand like allergies, especially like I don't ever get the normal allergies. I get like you're down for the count allergies. Like wake up one morning, your shit's all fucked up. Like it's a nice way to put it. Like your throat's bad. Like your nose, your nose hurts. There's drainage. Your head hurts, your body hurts. You're like, oh my god, did I get hit by like a truck or something? So nah, God, the allergies are terrible.
They sure as fuck are.
Yeah, I really do feel sorry for the people that like have really bad allergies because I'm like, I don't know how you live day to day. It's rough.
Yeah, you learn to deal with it.
Not fast enough is what it feels like.
Ugh, never fast enough.
Oh man, no. Normally I'm always the one asking you, how are things going? So I figure this time it's probably me.
Yeah,
Uh,
everything's going for you.
oh man, it's good. Nothing like as I guess interesting as last week. Luckily, um, I don't got any weird animal stories except for like this one guy. They've called me back to his house twice, and he's having like this issue with like these squirrels coming in. At first,
Oh
I thought they
no.
were like some big ass rats or something. But no, he's like, bro, he's like, I can hear them up there. They're like fighting and shit. He's like, and so I go up there, and of course, like every time like pest control or something bad happens, you go up there and like you don't see anything. So,
Yes. It's like telling
so,
my dad, hey, something's wrong with my car. Will you drive it? He drives it. I don't know what's wrong with it. You drive it. Yeah, there's still that clicking sound.
no, yeah, right, same thing. Mechanics do,
Yep.
but whew,
Don't
sorry.
start that yawning.
I know I'm really not trying to. I had like I don't know. I've had like a heck of a weekend. So, um, it, yeah,
Oh.
it's been a little crazy. Friday night. What did I do on Friday? I feel like I didn't do anything, but I know I did something. I
It's
know
all
I
a
did
blur to
something.
you.
No lie. Saturday, what happened? I woke up. I was doing a little bit of work on the pod. I mean, just like a little bit of work on the podcast. Of course, everybody knows I've been looking for like stuff for the new computer. So that's always a must. So I just kind of been going through like just kind of posts, not just to like see the pricing, but I started actually like looking at the components just because I'm still like out of date with all the computer stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be nice whenever like I get like a real steal, and then like these parts are like high end. So like I said, I'm gonna buy a couple of computers. So of course Coco is gonna get one, but you know,
But it's just a
yeah,
waiting game.
yeah, it really is just a waiting game, and it's not like it's just gonna be like a small amount of money. I'm looking for like anywhere from 1,500 to like $2,000, so it's not gonna be like a small thing. What else? Besides that, I've almost finished 2 books
Woo!
in 1 week. So the first one wasn't anything major. I can't even remember what the first one was, to be honest with you. I go through books pretty quickly just because I'm like while I'm working, they're usually playing, and so like I retain most of it, but they all kind of talk about the same thing.
Yep.
But the other one, I touched on the Charlie Munger thing, and you got the quote from last week. So,
Oh, that's a good quote.
oh yeah, so that I think that book is like maybe like an hour or something away from finishing. So I'll be happy when I finish that, and then of course like I got more books to read after that. But
It's a never-ending list.
yeah, it's a never-ending list. Thankfully, it was like I said, something that I started whenever I was like 30. I was like, if I had all this time, I was like, and I'm working. It's like I'm not just gonna listen to trash the whole time, I'll listen to it. Like, don't get me wrong, like 50-60% of the time it's trash, but I keep a decent 50 to 40 as
There
well.
you go.
So,
That's smart.
yeah. But yeah, nothing major, guys. Just kind of keeping up with the flow. Consistency is always a thing, and just going ham on trying to make this thing work. So, what about you? What's been going on?
Absolutely nothing. I have Friday off, so I took the day to relax.
Me and Coco had a couple drinks last Thursday.
Sure did. We sure did. No hangover for Coco. So just took Friday, kind of relaxed. Yesterday is when the allergies really hit, and
like a truck.
Yes. I woke up, my face was all swollen and red, like my eyes were puffy. My throat itched. I was like, no. So, been dealing with that, and then editing, chatting with friends. I've been working on writing the ceremony for my sister's wedding. So,
a true officiant.
Yes, we're getting there. I fly out and I perform the wedding in 13 days. So it's getting close.
Damn. That's 13 days, girl. Holy cow.
Yup. So super exciting for that. A little terrifying, but
It's a first. It's a first for you. Not a first wedding, but it's the first
the first one I'm performing.
Yeah.
So but
Oh my.
excited and nervous about it. So
I'll be good. It'll be, it'll be like truly real whenever you see the pictures.
yes,
Then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I
look,
did
I
that.
did that.
Yeah.
Yes, I still need to find something to wear, so that'll be fun.
A little, I don't know. You're the officiant, so you can't have like just a little black dress. You have to have like a nice like. It almost has
I
to be
was
a little conservative and not at the same time.
I was gonna wear the bridesmaid's dress I got for a friend's wedding because it's beautiful and I love it. But then my sister, who is a bridesmaid for this wedding, decided she wanted that exact same dress in a different color. So that's not gonna happen.
uh, uh,
I'll figure something out, but means I gotta go clothes shopping, right?
woo, yeah. They're gonna love you. Oh yes, girl. We got like hundreds of different of styles. What are you looking for? We got this Ye Saint Laurent.
I'm a broke fool. Going cheap.
We
Gotta
got
go find me
that.
some thrift stores.
that cheap Saint Laurent.
I like that. I don't know. I got me some Vera Wang at thrift stores before, so
Hey,
possible.
I'm just saying. Or what is the fancier thrift stores like Uptown Cheapskate and what is it? Not Plato's, but fuck, I can't remember what it but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
though.
I know what you're talking about, but no, all I can think of is Plato's.
Yeah.
And I know Plato's Closet is like a secondhand store, but
yeah, not Plato's, Cato's, Uptown Cheapskate, and then there's one more. So, but I'm balling on a budget. That's all I say. Oh man. So everybody
into this.
Yeah. Normally, you got us here, and we're always trying to, not really deliver a message, but definitely like give some insight. So, tonight we're going to be kind of talking about something that is extremely underrated, in my personal opinion.
Agreed.
We're going to be talking about aftercare. Oh man, like that kind of brings us into the first question of what is aftercare?
What is aftercare?
Yeah. So we have articles like always, but we're gonna be more over referencing them than we actually gonna like go over the articles, just because this is a topic that has been touched numerous times, and for the most part, everybody kind of knows because, I mean, if you've had any type of like intimacy, and it could be sexual or non-sexual intimacy, like I'll even start off like whenever you're younger and you're a kid, just kind of being like caressed or something. Because you can't go to sleep because you're fussy or you're sick or something, you can't, you kind of just need like that little extra type thing. And then, versus like, a sexual where it's, a lot of people cuddle after they're, done having sex type things. So that's like a type of aftercare as well. But, it just basically helps. I really want to say like even out even out the personal like emotions as well as the physical uneasiness that you might be feeling.
I totally agree with that, especially if you're playing in something that's, I've kind of touched on it before, but if you're playing in something that could be degrading, or if you're playing with pain, or you're playing with something very intense, you get that super high endorphin rush of all the dopamine, and then all of a sudden you start crashing, like coming back down to reality. Having something to kind of even you out so you don't get a huge drop is super important.
So just to kind of clear up what is aftercare, and this is just kind of like a simple definition on the charts here, but this one comes from Lilo.com. It's actually, I think it's like, what is it, Volante? Yeah, Volante website. But it says, what is BDSM aftercare? And it says, aftercare is very simply the time that you and your partner take after play time to recover and also see to each other's emotional and physical needs. Certain role plays in kinky act can be both physically and physiologically taxing. So this time is great for relaxing as well as getting back to reality. Yeah, like, I mean, just kind of like what Coco was saying. So it just kind of helps to clear up any type of like physical or emotional strain that might be left afterwards. um but let me see, hold on real quick.
Well, and aftercare kind of shows you, especially if you're playing with some of those things, that yes, you're still human, you're still loved, you're still, you know, you're not a bad person for liking this. You did well. It kind of reassures those things, especially if you play with a lot of dirty talk, like, oh, you're such a slut and you're a
Mm-hmm.
dirty little toy to be used, or anything like that. It kind of reassures this whichever person that you are still human and you're still worth respect and you're still like have worth, rather than just being like a sex toy or something like that.
Yeah, it kind of we all, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but they kind of not as well. So we talk about like dropping, sub drop, dom drop, but aftercare is kind of a way to bring the person out of the droppage and basically equalize them, or bring them back to as they would say, equilibrium. um just because of you're in a different mental space. I mean, what was a an experience that kind of delved your mind into fantasy, you have to kind of bring that back to reality, and that's kind of a way where you can do it, but you can kind of do it like gently and um more even. So kind of a thing. So I've it's kind of something that I've always known about and I've tried to practice, but I didn't realize how important it was until it happened to me that I didn't get aftercare and I didn't do aftercare.
And aftercare is important to both sides of the slash.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about it all the time with, aftercare for your sub, aftercare for your submissive, aftercare for your slave, for your bottom, for your. And I feel like it's like 1,000 times underrated for the doms and the tops, because as I've been in this community, I've noticed that the tops and the doms and the masters are the people on the left side of the slash are like held to this up to this degree
Mm-hmm.
of perfection and superhuman emotions,
No, true.
where in reality they're human just like I am. They're gonna mess up, they're gonna have emotions, they're gonna hit top drop, they're gonna have, you know, dom space, they're gonna have these same emotions. Yes, they may not be the exact same, but for example, the example I used earlier of like, you're a perfect little slut and you're like my little toy to be used, and that kind of humiliation, yes, that when directed towards me during sex, like, yeah, I enjoy that, but afterwards I need reassurance that I'm more
Yeah.
than that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it does play on like the tops side of, saying those things like, yes, that's hot and that's sexy and that's really great in the moment, but then sometimes afterwards you need to remind yourself that you said these things that were enjoyable to both of you, and that's okay that you said those things, and it's not something, how's I going to go about that, but it's it's something that you need to, like, that's not something you normally say, so you need reassurance that it's okay that you said those things and we enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. um this kind of brings me to the next point that we have on there, without it being, I don't think it's like a main point on what we have, but why is aftercare so important, and does everybody need aftercare in your opinion?
I definitely think that everybody needs aftercare.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all going to be the same? No, absolutely not, because every person's different. But there's so many ways to provide aftercare that, yes, everybody needs it, because like you've said, everybody needs to balance back down to that equilibrium, balance back down to where they're at a level of okayness and satisfaction without the crushing depression that comes with a drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's important because it reaffirms an emotional connection and a physical connection, and with your partner, and it shows that you still care for each other even after doing some of these wild, crazy, weird things.
True. Agreed. And just to kind of play off that, I feel like everybody needs it in some form or fashion. And I agree with you. It doesn't necessarily happen all the time. And that, even with that, like, I kind of feel like I have, like, I dig hookup culture and I don't dig hookup culture at the same time, because you're leaving out important parts of not just sex, but, everything that comes along with sex. So, like, the bonding, of course, because the oxytocin gets released, the endorphins go high, but that's just natural. That's what most people have the sex for. And then, then comes aftercare, where, sorry, I feel like I'm going off into a little tangent here, but I feel like it's important. Like, whenever people like hook up and they don't give aftercare to the other people, so everybody's always talking like, oh yeah, fucking leave, type thing, where, we just got done, I'm not going to stick around because, she wants to cuddle and whatnot. But
I'd go do the walk of shame because I don't want to cuddle.
Yeah, that type of thing. And that's like, I feel like that's hard, because it's like, okay, you're providing half of what you were there for. You see what I'm saying? You were there for the endorphins release, but you're not there to actually like pick up the person and be like, okay, we're back to normal type thing. And then I feel like they take that missing need for aftercare, and I feel like it kind of hurts them like during the week, until of course, like, they start getting themselves back to normal. But I feel like it hurts them in the middle of the week, but also they're going to try and rely on somebody else for that type of aftercare that doesn't, one, know why they need that aftercare, and two, some people, they're just like, why am I providing aftercare? Like, get your partner type thing. So with that being said, I feel like, does everybody need aftercare? I think so, yes. 100% yes. So just to kind of go into it a little bit, it says some people might need to be completely okay without aftercare, as we've said, and may prefer to be left alone rather than, kiss and cuddle. That's why it's important to negotiate aftercare before getting started. If you're just starting to experiment BDSM and are not sure what kind of aftercare you and your partner may need, discussing your feelings after the scene serves as your jump-off point for the care you or your partner would like to receive in the experiences to come. So a lot of it, of course, I mean, just kind of like, to sum this up, I mean, it's more of like, you have to negotiate it ahead of time, saying, yes, I do want aftercare, blah, 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 type of thing. So any pointers on that?
No, I definitely agree with that.
Hey y'all, Coco after the fact. I'm here in editing and I remembered what I had forgotten during recording. I just want to say that yes, it's so important to negotiate aftercare, and this is the one time it's okay to change what you negotiated. Definitely say that, I want aftercare. This is, if you don't know what it is, be like, this is what I think I need. This is what I think I want. And then after the fact, if it was cuddling and you're getting all these cuddlings and you're not liking it and it's overwhelming and it's too much, that's okay to renegotiate that. Be like, you know what? I thought I wanted cuddling. I think I just need to sit beside you, or I think I just need quiet, or I think I need some time on my own. This is the one and only time it's okay to renegotiate, to add something into a scene. If you think you only wanted to sit there in silence with a blanket next to somebody and you say, actually, you know what? I really need some physical touch. I need to hold your hand. I need to cuddle. That is okay. That is perfect. Be aware of your body and how that's going to work.
It's saying ideas for aftercare. I can kind of start off with me personally. I mean, we have an article for it, but me personally, like, my favorite things for aftercare, it sounds a little crazy, but Gatorade, of course. Any type of, like, it has to either be fruity sweet or like chocolatey sweet, as far as like any type of like candies or like, substances type thing. So like I can do like, not necessarily like a Slim Jim, because all those things cause heartburn, but like a Slim Jim and like a soda, or Snickers and like a huge, like, yeah, or some of the juice. But yeah, I need stuff like that to kind of like, I feel like, bring me back to normal. Just because whenever you release, it's like you're not really getting any of
Well,
the
and
substances back. So
like the juice or the
um,
soda or like the fruit or the candy or the chocolate, they're all really good at helping balance out kind of your blood sugar levels, um, because you've just gone through this intense scene and it kind of helps you um, like level out, which is basically what aftercare is. It everything's like all of your senses are on fire and it kind of just brings you down, and that bit of sugar kind of helps you even out.
boost you back up. So we have another article, and this one is by Lovence, and I think y'all already know
They've
who
got some great
who that
choices.
is. But they had like a pretty good, yeah, right. They had an article here in their blog about aftercare, so we're just gonna kind of quickly touch on it. Moreover, just kind of things to do with aftercare. This kind of, it feels like it gives like a start to finish type thing, but it's got some good ones. So, of course, like to get rid of the shackles is what I like to say. So taking off the BDSM gear, blindfold, ropes, restraint. Of course, move the sub or dom. They didn't put dom in here, but something we're comfortable and warm off the floor. Making sure to obviously like keep the place clean, cleaning, disinfecting, applying medicine, dressing any injuries. Applying, of course, lotions. I didn't actually. This was kind of one of the things that like I did. It wasn't really a aftercare type thing, but it was more of like a pre-care type thing. You know what I mean? Like pre-sex type thing. Applying lotions, aloe, cooling
Master does
creams
this
to
a lot
to
of
make
times
the
with
body feel better.
jojoba oil on any impact because it helps soothe the
Oh,
area where I can still feel the burn, but it's not that intense throbbing. So it definitely helps.
So yeah, that would go along with the painkillers, the vitamins, the supplements, and acid to deal with pain, lactic acid buildup, or loss of nutrients. I'm just gonna say antacids are wonderful because we all seem to have pizza. Heartburn's a bitch. Uh, what else? It says, and this one I've seen many times, and this one I completely agree with. It's wrapping the sub in a blanket or
I
bathrobe to
love.
counteract the body's temperature
Oh,
drop.
I love
If you're
my
worried
weighted
about the
blanket after a scene.
Mm, mhm. No, weighted blankets are godsend. It's been on my buy list forever. I haven't bought one for this bed just because I feel like I know if I put in a weighted blanket, bitch, I ain't getting
I
up in the
have
morning.
I have a couple. I have a small little one that's 5 pounds that sits in my living room. I have one at Master's house, and then I have my giraffe print one that follows me around the house.
Yeah. Look, I feel like I need to get a big one, but like I said, I'll have to only use it on weekends because, like I said, during the week, all that weight on you, you kind of have that pressure. It's like, all right, I ain't got to get out of bed, and then then it's a wrap for me. So, um, so kind of keep going down the list here. Offer water, of course. That's a must. I feel like everybody offers water after sex, but moreover, make sure you offer water. Offer chocolate, juice, powdered drinks, like I was talking about. Hugging, cuddling, and caressing. This is kind of a big one. So, just kind of like that gentle touch is always what you need sometimes after a hard impact scene or any type of like true degradation type thing. So, um, and change in voice, which is just usually natural, I guess, coming across versus like being in top space and subspace. A soft and gentle voice from the dom, reassuring that everything is okay. This one I had um, personal involvement with, I should say.
Uh-huh.
The reassurance, everything is okay. So like affirmations and stuff. Um, I don't know if she really wants me telling the story. So telling the story, not telling the story. So I hung out with like Matt and Pua, and they decided to do like a little play date type thing. So I played, and what was it, like 2 or 3 days later? It wasn't even 2 or 3. It was like maybe
A day or two later,
Monday
yeah.
afternoon or Tuesday morning. She she sent me a text. She was like, "Hey, can I have affirmations? I still feel a little droppy." So that'll tell you right there, like, you got to give them some affirmations, and obviously, just say nice things, bring them up. I kind of get a little bit more personal.
And a note
So
just on that,
you know how that is.
We're talking as if drop happens immediately after a scene. And aftercare should happen immediately after a scene, but drop can happen anywhere from immediately after the scene to I've seen it happen 72 hours later. Sometimes longer. So it can happen at any point. You can continue to ride those high feelings, especially if it's like a long scene or an extended time. So it can happen. It's not always a right away thing.
So thank you for clearing that up there. It's funny how that kind of goes hand in hand, because sometimes aftercare isn't always needed right after. Sometimes it's needed later. So offering praise, which is in there as well. Reassurance, as we were just kind of talking about. If the sub feels awkward about their kinks, that they are normal and their pleasures are nothing to be ashamed about. That's true, especially whenever you try something new. Kind of keep going here. Offer reassuring and gentle touch to the part of the body that wasn't affected by the scene. Make sure participants are serene and positive. Very true. A phone call or meet up a day or two after an intense scene to talk about things and make sure everything is okay.
Can happen at any time, so continue the aftercare if needed.
Have a warm bubble bath with candles. That's not something that I've tried, but to be honest with you, I have heard that works wonders for men.
Interesting.
That a lot of I don't think men talk about it a lot, but what was it? I was watching a video on like I guess millionaire habits, or some of like their downtime habits, and one of them was actually a bubble bath.
Huh. I
Like
mean that makes sense. Bubble like baths are relaxing, and to be able to sit down and take like off all of your hats, quote unquote, and relax in it makes sense.
Says put the sub in their favorite comfortable clothing. I don't know. For some reason, I'm a big fan of onesies, especially like seeing like women in onesies is the cutest thing on this planet. Like putting them in a little bear outfit or a little bunny outfit is just cute as could be. And then it says watch a movie that the sub likes, or listen to music, whatever it is. Journal writing, which I think is big and not big at the same time. It's big because you can express everything that you want to say without like fearing anything. But sometimes how being a human is, like sometimes you really can't form those emotions into words. So kind of vice versa there. Being left alone to reflect or even meditate. That's another one too, because I feel like we all have to have time to reflect. Sometimes the reflect hits us at times when we want to reflect, and sometimes it hits us at times when we don't even know we're reflecting. So So that one's actually a good one. And of course, that at the bottom here it says Doms can have drop too, and we say that all the time. So don't think anybody is immune to stuff like that. There we go. And aftercare gone wrong. It really should be wrong or right, but I'll take wrong and right in this one too. Aftercare gone wrong.
You.
Hey, so, oh man, this is gonna be like the controversial side of the thing, and that's kind of where I brought up in our first point, where what is aftercare. I talked about like the hookup culture. It seemed like a rant, but it wasn't a rant, because now it's like, all right, now we're on the point. Is there a hookup culture in BDSM?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yes and no, because what you'll find out is we were talking about vetting people to eventually get a play partner. Well, a lot of times is you'll get a play partner at let's say like a play space, or maybe you go meet them in their space because you feel comfortable enough. And let's just say they're playing. Right, they've negotiated the scene, but they don't negotiate aftercare. The scene happens. The dominant picks up most of his stuff, getting ready to go. The submissive is still kind of like shaky, sitting on the bench or whatever it is, and they go over. He talks to him for a little bit, and then he just leaves. Like, sad part is, I think they're causing a lot more harm than they know. Like in the instance, obviously, like it's one of those things where it's almost like a high five or like a handshake on a deal type thing where it's like, all right, hey, thanks for this, have a good day, versus actually trying to fulfill the second-hand need of aftercare.
Well,
So that's where I think
just
it
kind
can
of like
go
you
wrong.
mentioned, like aftercare is one thing that people don't think to include in their negotiations because it's not the part of the quote-unquote scene. It's not the impact. It's not the rope. It's not the bondage. It's not the degradation. It's not any of that. So they don't think about including the aftercare because that's after the scene. But if you don't talk about it and what you need from it, then how is the other person going to know? So.
And I mean, aftercare I usually go right because the more you get into the BDSM lifestyle, the more it starts to creep up towards the top. So you automatically know if you're going to play with this person, you kind of want to know what kind of aftercare they'll need as well. So yeah, it's almost like eventually you start making checks and balances, for yourself, as far as BDSM as a whole. So some people do aftercare. It's like I said, I already had like a story for that where it's I was dating this chick for a while, and let's just put it this way, like we would have sex, but they would never cuddle, or like they wouldn't like any like small type of aftercare. You know what I mean? Like I'm not much of a cuddler. Like I can get affectionate at times, but like cuddling is just kind of hard. But something like that, especially like after something is like intimate as sex, it's kind of one of those musts. And it was one of the things where whenever it stopped happening to me, I kind of started like seeing things go downhill. So I had to learn how to like aftercare for myself. And so like now that I'm not in that relationship, it's one of those things where now it's like there's no real negotiation. It's a must, So that's kind of one of those things where we talk. Actually, Coco brought that up a couple episodes ago, where you have your non-negotiables. That's a non-negotiable.
I know some people. I think you've met Ballerina before, Sadistic Ballerina.
I would have to see her. If I saw her, I'd probably know her.
Ballerina weren't ever like partners; they just were play partners. And they were the ones that did the huge,
gotcha.
heavy impact scenes at the dungeons all the time. But anyways, so Sadistic Ballerina, she does super, super heavy impact baseball bats and whips and crops and incredibly vicious violentness. And her aftercare that she requires is to sit alone in a corner so she can sit and reflect. She wants a blanket and she wants to sit in a corner. So, there's times like that where that's definitely something that she needs to, because a lot of people think about aftercare as, cuddles and affirmations and, coming back down together, like coming back down to normal together, where she's like, no, I need that time by myself to reaffirm with myself and rebalance within myself. And so that's definitely something she negotiates when she says, okay, this is the aftercare I need, because it's different than the quote unquote normal aftercare most people have.
It's not really, it may look like a, hey, leave me the hell alone, but it's more of like a, hey, like, let me clear up here before I move out here. Yeah.
On like the whole other side, you get people who, for example, who wants the cuddles and wants the affirmations and needs the affirmations, even days later if they're still feeling droppy. And then there's people in the middle, kind of like me. I like a moment alone. whether that means they're going to get a washcloth and clean me up, or Master's taking his dog outside. Like, I like just a moment alone with my own thoughts to like come back to my own head, and then I like cuddles, and I like the blanket, and I like my water or my fruit or my chocolate. I love chocolate covered almonds. That's one of my favorite aftercare snacks. And so I like that afterwards. But I don't necessarily, if you give me like my weighted blanket, I don't necessarily always need cuddles as long as I know you're there. So it's all very personal. And there's times when you're going to need different aftercare than you normally need. I've had a few scenes where that were very, very cathartic, and I just cried and cried to let it all out, and then I think I'd be fine, and then I would cry some more. So I just needed the cuddles at that point. So it all really depends on the scene. I think aftercare goes. You can say aftercare goes right when you know that you've done your best and that you are still there and you have that communication open even a few days after the scene to be able to chat with them in case they drop after the scene. So
Well, I mean, as y'all can see, like it's a subject that we talk about. I wouldn't say it necessarily gets glossed over, but there's a lot more in depth you could go into it. But I feel like we scratched the surface pretty well on this. So I mean, at this point, like any closing remarks on this?
Advocate for yourself and what you need for aftercare. Make sure you put in negotiations that you want aftercare, or what you need for aftercare, or who is going to provide that aftercare. I know somebody who likes to play with a lot of people, but she only wants aftercare from her specific partner. So make sure you negotiate that, and that your both partners who are playing in the scene are aware of what's needed. So make sure you advocate for what you want and what you need so you can not have a terrible job.
Oh man, honestly, I can't really follow that up because that is literally everything. So, just all I'm gonna say with that is like you've kind of seen, there's safety and importance in every step of kink. So everything from meeting people, negotiations, having the safe words. We talked about the pillars. So in there's safety nets, and then this is one of those safeties that you need to add into your play, because it doesn't seem like a big thing until you realize that it is. So always have aftercare. If you're going to play, just know aftercare is always a thing. Always, always, always. So just like I said, just make sure you involve it in your repertoire, and that's really all I got to say. Honestly, Coco summed it up the best. So, man, that's really all I got, honestly. So, with that, anything else that we missed on the articles? Are we good?
As well, we will post the 3 articles we were kind of referencing that you guys can sit and read them. And
yeah, and we kind of pull. Okay, I'll be honest with you. So we pull the articles, of course, like, and this is just like most of the episodes sometimes too. We'll pull the articles as reference, so you guys at least understand, or you get more clear, a clearer picture of what we're saying. So we'll say things, and like it'll come off, and it'll obviously be in the article as well. But the article definitely goes a little bit more in depth. We already have prior knowledge of most of this stuff, so it helps it, because I'm sure sometimes listening to it you have questions. Well, maybe the article will clear up the questions better than we can do in this small amount of time. So
my mom always says, like, there's different ways of learning. So sometimes reading an article or hearing somebody else say it gives you that aha moment of being able to understand it better.
So if you ever feel droppy or You feel like something's wrong after sex, it'd be good to actually start kind of breaking it down.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
know,
this has
personally,
been
so.
Dark Side Adventures,
Oh,
episode
man.
11, 12. 12!
12
Ew.
episode 1, 2. Yes, ma'am. Oh man.
I will do
shameless plugs. You
I
want
think I
shameless
can
plugs?
last that long without getting congested. Shameless plugs here. Reach us on Twitter at DarkSideAdventures. Reach us on YouTube,
Yep.
Reddit, SoundCloud, and Spotify at DarkSideAdventures. Reach out to us on email with comments, questions, suggestions on topics, or hell, if you want to be on the episode. Our email is ourdarksideadventures@gmail.com. Yes, this is
man.
your
Yep,
host.
we are
I'm
everywhere
Coco.
now.
And we will see you next time
And I'm
for
Edwin.
episode 13. Adios.
Yeah. Bye.